Is my spouse hiding money? It's a question I get asked by so many people at the beginning of their divorce. Everybody's on guard, everybody's feeling vulnerable. You're walking on eggshells, and you don't really know if maybe your ex is just taking chunks of money or if your ex has been hiding money for a really long time and you might find out about it. It's a really gross, awful feeling. It's creepy. It's just weird. That's what I want to talk about today to make you feel better. And my guest is Tracy Coenen. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Jackie, and hi, everyone.
So, for those of you who don't know, Tracy is a well known forensic accountant who started the Divorce Money Guide, which is a well known company that helps people find their husband's hidden money. Tracy, do you agree with me that when people are first getting divorced, it's like this creepy feeling and you don't know if your spouse is hiding money? What are some signs that your spouse is hiding money? What do you look for?
Well, first, let me address this creepy feeling. The sad part is that in probably 75% of divorces, there is some hidden money. There is some shenanigans going on that you never knew about. So don't feel like you're crazy for thinking that, or you might be told, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist or you're making things up. In lots and lots of divorces, there is hidden money. So it's not a
Did
crazy
you say
thing to think of.
75%?
That's my best guess, yeah. I've been doing this a
Wow.
really, really long time. I've been working
Mhm.
in divorces for more than 20 years, and granted, as a forensic accountant, I do tend to see the worst of the worst cases, but when I started the Divorce Money Guide and started working more with average people who are getting divorced and started seeing what's going on with them, I just see it's all over the place, and in some cases, maybe it's an account that has a couple $1,000s in it, and it's not huge, but that's still hidden money. So it's a
And
very
it's the
real thing.
principle. It would
Yes.
bug me just because it's hurtful. What you're stealing from me. I don't care if
Yes.
it's $20. You're stealing from your
Yes.
spouse and that's wrong. Okay, so what are some of the signs? How would you know?
Well, when they are starting to display really secretive behavior, that's a problem. And usually that kind of behavior is something that maybe is a change from the way it was before. So if you had access to online banking before, or if your bank statements came in the mail to the house, and then all of a sudden, those things didn't happen anymore. Like you got your access to online banking taken away, or suddenly the bank statements stopped coming to the house. And when you asked about them, you were told, oh, don't worry about it. That change in behavior to that secretiveness or to shutting you out is a huge red flag that I tell people to look for. I also have them look for some changes in how people are spending money. So if you see your spouse suddenly change from always using a debit or credit card to now they seem to be going to the ATM a lot and using cash, I would be suspicious of what's going on because that's typically done when they're trying to hide what their spending is. So those are two really big signs that I see happening.
Okay, now tell me what somebody should do if because nobody's just going to say, okay, I want to make sure my spouse isn't hiding money. So I'm going to hire a forensic accountant right from the beginning because now you're talking about thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. So this is sort of a layup question, but it's really important. What can they do that's free?
Right. Well, so what you want to do, if you have suspicions about the money, or if you just don't know a lot about your family's money and now you're getting divorced, hey, it's time for you to know more about that money and know exactly what you have. You have to start getting documentation. You have to start getting facts about your money. And that involves getting bank statements, getting credit card statements, and starting to look through them. It's really about protecting yourself financially with information and then also protecting yourself financially by doing things like opening your own bank account that only has your name on it, opening a credit card that only has your name on it. So, there are some steps you can take when you're thinking about divorce, early in the divorce process, to shore up your own financial situation, protect yourself. And I have a free resource
I was just gonna say, so everything that Tracy is saying, you can find if you go to planningfordivorce.com, and it's absolutely free. Tell me
That's
about
right.
what that is.
Planning for Divorce is a free resource that I put together. It's a PDF. It's, a bunch of pages long, but it's got steps that you need to take that you can check off. Important documents that you should think about gathering right away, important steps to take, like getting that bank account in your name, etc. So it tells you a bit about what these things are that you can do to protect yourself. It gives you a list of things that you can check off.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay, so in your experience, when you do, let's say you do find money and you can prove that your ex, or you don't even know if you can prove it, but you have that sinking feeling, feeling in your stomach that you're like, "Oh my gosh, he is stealing. He's hiding money." What steps do you take? What do you do?
It's a matter of going through your account statements and finding those transactions that are the proof that money is being hidden, stolen, etc. And it's really not that hard. It sounds complicated. It really isn't, because most times there's probably about a dozen ways that money is hidden by people in the typical divorce case. For example, they might open a secret bank account and start stashing money in that account. Well, usually we find that account because they've made a transfer from your regular checking account to that other account. So I walk people through the process of what do you look for in your bank and credit card statements to find that hidden money. And when you find those transactions, there is your proof. You start to put together a list of transactions that are bad.
With documentation.
Absolutely. You add that all up, and that's what you and your attorney will be able to go into court with to say, "Hey, I want to be reimbursed for this."
Okay, what if you're in mediation
You can ask for that to be reimbursed for that as well. I mean,
in your
it's really
mediation session?
yeah, it's really a matter of having the facts about, "Hey, here's what you disclosed as far as the accounts. I found another account and I want to get my part of that other account as well."
Now, Tracy, do people ever just confront their spouse, or do you think they just shouldn't say anything and wait and bring it up in mediation or through their attorney?
Well, I think you definitely don't want to confront them unless you have all the facts. So don't even think about confronting until you've done your own little investigation and you've seen exactly what's been going on with the money. Once you know what's been going on with the money and you have your facts, I recommend talking with your attorney first, again, before you do any confronting. Because when you confront someone, number one, it has the chance to make things really go sideways in your divorce. So you want to be careful about that. But number two, it might motivate them to do even more shenanigans with the money. So you really want to have a strategy behind how you're going to approach whatever it is that you find.
Okay, I have two thoughts on that. First of all, I agree with you because things are already really bad. Why would you want to make them worse? It might cause fighting in front of the kids, further conflict, further walking on eggshells, and you don't really want that. So I love that advice. The other thing I was going to say is that once you find one thing, don't you have to wonder if there's more? I mean, like, how does that work? Do you go to your attorney, say, here's what I found, but now the gate's open. There could be so much more. How do you find all that money?
So sometimes it is a scenario where there is more to be found. And it might be a scenario where we find there's another bank that your spouse has been using. And so then your attorney might send a subpoena to that bank. So, yes, it can be a scenario where you start going down the rabbit hole and start finding more things. And how far you dig is really going to depend on what you're finding. If you find a few $100 that were hidden, maybe that's not worth it to keep going and digging beyond that. But if you're finding significant sums of money that were hidden, then maybe it makes sense to keep investigating.
Well, you're talking about a couple hundred. Okay, yes, that's fine, but it's still hurtful.
Of
And you
course.
have to, is there an emotional part of this? Like, why would you do this to me? Like, I would ask my ex in mediation in front of the mediator, why are you hiding money? It's hurtful, it's dishonest. Are you, is there more? Like, I feel like there's like, do people do this for an emotional reason, or do they do it because they're scared and they're just trying to get as much as they can, or are they really angry, so they're trying to get back at you? What are the reasons?
There are so many reasons. I think the most common reason that I see is greed and a desire to deprive their spouse of money and keep it for themselves. But I'll tell you this, when you talk about asking your spouse, why are you hiding this money? Remember that you're asking a question of someone who is already lying to you. Whatever they tell you is not even necessarily true anyway. So I always talk to my clients who are saying, I want to have some sort of closure by getting answers from them. I'm not sure that there really is closure in the answers that a liar gives you.
I love that. And also, I just had one more thought. Maybe talking, if you have a divorce coach, talk to your
Yes.
divorce coach about this because you need to have some therapy, or you could talk to a therapist, but either a therapist or a divorce coach, you need some support to experience the deception and to really get out how you're feeling about being deceived. And, the divorce is bad enough, but now you're being stolen from, and that can really, really hurt.
You certainly have to process that. What I say about asking the question or what I say about whether you should continue to pursue investigating more, just remember you're entitled to your feelings. You're entitled to ask questions and get information. But make sure that you're processing all of this in a healthy way for yourself and that you're not necessarily depending on your ex to give you the closure. You probably have to find the closure within yourself.
I just love it. Tracy, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And if you're watching this and you want to learn more about the Planning for Divorce Guide, all you have to do is go to planningfordivorce.com. And you can find out more about Tracy in the Trusted Professionals section of Divorced Girl Smiling and find out also more about the Divorce Money Guide.